Welcome back everyone. Quickly, let's continue our discussion on HTML form attributes. And right now we'll be discussing about the form no validate attributes which we can use inside our HTML input element. The input form no validate attribute specifies that an input element should not be validated when submitted. Note, this attribute overrides the no validate attribute of the form element. The form no validate attribute works with the following input type of submit. So I'm going to show you how this works quickly so you can be able to follow along. So let's get to the code. Right here is our document where we discuss about a lot of things. We have discussed about a lot of input types. You can check our playlist on that, and you can check our playlist on HTML from or HTML input types playlist to be able to follow along. And also right now we are still on our HTML input attribute playlist. You can check that also to be able to follow along. Right here, this is part of the attribute from the form attribute that we continue talking about. Now let's create something. Let's create a field. We need a field set and we need legend. Inside this legend, let's call it form. Let's call it input attributes continuation counting. So let's leave it like this, and right here let's just break it once so you can look neat. Let's create a label now. We need a label for what? What are we trying to talk about? We need form no validate, right? Form no val. I purposely give it this way so you can know that you can specify any name you want, but don't do this in production level. So quickly, let's use form no. Let's call this form no validate. This is the attribute we are talking about, so let's call it attribute and give this label like this. It's nice. Let's create an input type of what? Input type of submit, and we need two input type of submit just to demonstrate how this works quickly. Let's create another one. So this one now, let's break this thing to 2 so it can look nice. And this is our document right here at the bottom. We need a gap. We need like 4 gaps also so our document can look decent. So I think I've created something that I need. Let's save my document because I'm going to show you some errors that will occur later. So later, can you see this is the form I created just now? So we have to do something. Because we are still on our input attributes. So this form no validate attribute is the one we want to use in our submit button. So I need another submit button. How many submit buttons I created here? Oh, sorry, I need one more. This is the second button. Now we have 1 and 2. We have 2 submit buttons. Let's reload our document and see. Can you see we are having this submit, second submit? So quickly, let's change their name quickly so you can be able to understand how this works. I'll change this first name with value. I'll call it non-valid submit. I'll call it non-valid submit. And this one I'll call it, let me give it another value. Let me give this one valid submit. So I call this one non-valid submit and the other one valid submit. So because we are going to use non-validate attribute inside of this one, and we are going to use the we are going to use this one just like this so you can be able to understand how it works also. Can you see this one is valid submit and this one is non-valid submit? So inside here we need something after this label right here. We need another thing which is our input, because we need an input to take whatsoever we want to submit. So let's save our document and come back. Can you see we are having this, right? Don't you forget we have discussed about this ID attribute and the name attribute in our previous tutorial. Right now, because I don't need it, that's why I don't want to talk about it. I will remove them. So just to make our document look neat, decent. Now let's say we want to submit something. When we click this our submit button, it's supposed to take us to somewhere, right? So let's try it. You will see some errors. Can you see? It's not working because this submit button input type of submit, you have to enclose them inside of your form, or you have to send them to a form. Let's say for instance now we create a form right here. I'm showing you some of the stuff we have did so far so you can be able to know that we have really gone through a lot. You can give this form ID of main. Let's give it ID of main, and now come here inside our submit right here and give it form attribute again. A part of the thing we have learned so far, you can check our previous tutorial on that. So you can give this one also main. So when we click this one now, this one will be able to help us, because if you don't use this form, if you don't enclose all these things we wrote outside here, if you don't enclose them inside this HTML form like this, it will never go. Let's place them like this first. Let's remove this so you can be able to understand what I'm talking about. I want to do something. So let's reload our document. Let's submit now. Can you see? Right now it is not going. Why is it not going? Let's submit. Let's come back to our document. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? We have our feed set and our sorry. We don't give it index file because we need an index file, right? Index.php file. As you can see, our browser is telling us something right here. We don't look at it. As you can see, action.php, it's asking us question that what are we trying to do. So now let's reload our document. Let's submit. Can you see we are able to go, right? We are able to go somewhere. But let's now say, for instance, now we copy all these feeds right here. We take it out from here. We just leave our form action in that manner. We don't write all these feeds inside it. Let's break it so you can be able to see that they are in separate place. Now let's reload our document. Can you see now we are unable to see the form, right? Because the form also is an element with some values by default. So because you give it a break, that's why you are able to know that something is there. So now let's remove the break so you can see. Can you see we are not seeing the form, right? So when we click submit, it will never go. It will never go unless we target this form action, this action that is right here. So to target it, we have to target this ID. That's why I gave it ID. We have to target this ID. When we target this ID, then our form will be able to submit to this index.php file for scripting processing. So now let's target it using this one. Let's give it a form element, the form attribute. Sorry, when we give it a form attribute, the form attribute must pertain with this ID. You can check our previous tutorial where I discussed about this in details. So now let's give this second one also, because we are using the both. So let's give this one also. So just to make our document look nice, that's why I'm doing this. So let's reload our document. Now when we submit, it will have to go. Can you see it's heading to our index.php file, and our index.php file is inside our what? Inside our action attribute, which we specify inside our form element. As you can see, our form right here is not having anything for now. So it's having nothing. So now let's get back to our document and reload. Let's submit this one also, it will go, and when we submit the second one also, it will go, right? So one thing I want to do right now that will scare you a little is that right here now, because we are having this input type of text, that's why all of it is going, right? Now let's change it to email. You are going to see what will happen. Then reload our document now and try to submit. Can you see when I try? Wow, it works. Let me reload it. Let's submit. Wow, it works. No, it's not supposed to work. Yes, it is not supposed to work. So firstly, let's carry this and place it inside here so you can know that it's not supposed to work. Let's save it like this and reload our document. Let's submit. Wow, it is working. Why is it working? I'm going to tell you the reason why it's working. The reason why it is working is because we don't write something here. Let's say this input is for email, right? Let's say you should write something, but the email have not come. You have not write at something.com. You have not write it like that. It will never go. If let's firstly write something. Let's write something FFF. Let's submit. Can you see it's not going? It's saying please enter an email. This one also it will say something. Please enter an email. But until you write FFF at ggg.com, anything email, right? When we now submit it, it will go. When we submit this one also, it will go, right? So the funnest part, the thing I want you guys to know, to take right here is that let's give it a reset button right here. Let's give it a reset button also. Let's give it an input of reset so you can be able to follow along. All these things I've discussed about it in our previous tutorial. The reason I'm giving this reset button is because I want to be able to clear my input anytime I write something there. Let's clear it. Yes, it's going now. So let's get back to our document quickly. This is so advanced. This is so advanced. Let's carry our feed set now. Let's take it out of here. Now let's come back and place it outside so we can see what we are doing. This is our form. We have already targeted, so we don't need to specify all these things. We don't need to carry them and put them inside it. So now let's reload our document. Now let's submit. Can you see it's going right? But when we put email, let's say email, we put only at, it will not go. Wow, it's not supposed to go. Can you see what I'm saying? It is not supposed to what? To go. So let's carry this now. Let's reload our document first and submit it again. Can you see? It's not supposed to go. So now let's carry it again now. This is very funny. This is testing. If you don't do testing, how can you know that this is not working in that manner? So now let's reload our document again. Let's write email. Let's submit it. Can you see? It's not going. It's not going. Definitely before this, even this default the default restriction we are having with our email here, before it can work also save, is on else you are having this submit button inside and close with your form element. That's the only time it can even work. So definitely it's very good, our advice, to use JavaScript or any scripting language, maybe CSS, JavaScript, PHP, Python, and so and all that, to do some strong restriction with all these input type, because if you are thinking maybe the PHP, the HTML itself is going to help sometimes. I won't lie to you, the security is not that strong like that, but it's somehow strong in some ways, but it's not that strong like, because it can be easily bypassed. So let me quickly show you now. As you can see now, let's say for instance now we are having this our feed outside our form. It will be able to go without verifications. Let's submit it. Can you see? It is going. But let's say for instance now we are having this our feeds inside our form like this. The email, everything is going to work. Can you see? It's going to work and it's working perfect. Or else we put original email. Let's say info@anything.com. Then it will go. It will now go. Can you see? It's working right. It's working right. So that is the first advice I will give you guys for now. So now this button is the one we are here for. This is the main thing we are here for. So quickly let's do something with it. Let's say no validate inside this our HTML form right here. Let's give it form attribute, form no validate attribute. When we give it form no validate attribute, let's firstly save our document first and try to write something here. Let's submit. Can you see this one is asking for something, right? But let's write something again. As you can see, this one is asking for something, but let's click this one. This one shouldn't ask for anything, it should go. So that's why you have to come here, press is equal to, and double quote. Inside the double quote, place form no validate again. Form no validate, validate again. When you put form no validate again and reload your documents, let's press it now. Can you see it is going? That is the benefit of using the form no validate. If you notice one thing, as you can see, when we click this one, it's asking you for correct something, or else you now put at something.com before this one can go. Can you see? And all this one now is working because we are having them, we are having all of it inside, enclosed inside our HTML form element right here. Let's say we enclose them outside of our HTML element and we target the HTML input itself. It's going to work. Can you see? It is working. So please, anytime you are writing, you are doing this, make sure you protect your document with a lot of securities so that hackers will not get into it, because we are coming from the beginners to the advanced level. If you have been following me so far, you follow me reach this level, you should be clapping for yourself by now because you have learned something. Can you see? When we press this no validate, it works. So there is a way we can still bypass this one so that this one can work. When we carry all these things now, we carry it out, we take it out from here, we place it right here. This, and we specify this our form, and we target this thing. When we submit it, it will go. Let's reload, let's submit, it will go. Can you see it is going without validating anything? So it's an arc. I just show you right here. So the form no validate is working. That's is working also. And you can also do the arc two ways. I show you two ways you can send a form without any validation. So in our next tutorial, I'm going to show you the way we can use our other things to validate also in this HTML element. So Anwar Akorede ayofe is my name. The long talks. I wish to see you guys next time in our next tutorial. Please make sure you practice, because practice makes perfect. If you don't do that, no one can do that for you. Have a great day.